Okay, this is my third take. My iPhone storage keeps filling up. But Doom the Dark Ages just released, and I went ahead and I played through it on stream. I posted a small review on TikTok. Nothing major, just a small review, basically giving insight into what to expect of the game. But I want to go ahead and give my opinion because there's a lot to unpack with this game. Um, I'm sure if you played Doom Eternal, Doom 2016, and then go into this game, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But there are a lot of differences between these three games. And I wanted to start off, first of all, with the gameplay. The gameplay itself is overall fun. There's really nothing unenjoyable about the gameplay, but it feels completely different than what Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal were. For example, with Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal, you were dashing. It was dash oriented. You could move with, dashing your character around and lots of aerial combat and stuff like that. You were more mobile in Doom 2016, Doom 2000 or Doom Eternal than you were in Doom the Dark Ages. With Doom the Dark Ages, there's no more dashing. They've completely taken that out. You are just stuck to the ground. And they have added a new weapon called a shield saw. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a shield with saw blades revolving around it, and you throw it like Captain America's shield. You just throw it. It can get stuck in enemies. It can slice enemies in half. But the one thing it's used for most is parrying. And they added a new parry mechanic into the game where when you see these green attacks light up, you can parry them. They're parryable attacks. And it definitely changes up the mechanics and the way that you play the game significantly. Think of Doom 2016, Doom Eternal. You were more jumping around, dashing around your enemies, trying to get out of their line of sight to kill them and stuff like that. Whereas with Doom, the Dark Ages, you feel like a fridge. You feel like a fridge being just thrown through your enemies. Like just a tank, just plowing through dozens, hordes of enemies. And so it's a different play style. You can definitely feel the difference, but no shade whatsoever. I definitely think it was 100% a great switch. I thought the tanky meteor combat was new and refreshing, and it definitely stood out. With that being said, the new weapons that they added an arsenal of, I want to say 9 weapons, maybe 10. And one of them being this large crossbow called the BFC. And this crossbow comes with 3 bullets that you can hold, 3 ammunition slots that you can have for the arrows. And the arrows are very rare to find around the maps. But essentially what the crossbow is just a nuke. You just shoot it at your enemies, and that horde of 50 enemies that you saw right there are no more. They're eviscerated. They're gone. Completely wiped off the face of any planet you were just on. So I love that addition. I love that they added a whole bunch of random wacky weapons to put in and just, screw around with. It's a lot of fun. There's weapons like Skull Crusher, where you mow down enemies with broken shards of human remains. And there's guns like the Chain Shot, where it's just a metal ball attached to the end of a chain that you just shoot at people. And it's fun that they give you these wacky weapons, but there really is no need for them. You can honestly finish the entire game using just one weapon. So it's fun to have these weapons and, a new addition to how you can kill your enemies. But it's really not necessary in the long run. Again, I could go using the shotgun the entire game and be content, still have fun through the entire game. The other weapons they're really not necessary. They're fun if you want to change up your playstyle, but I think I used the chain shot for a total of maybe 10 minutes max, 20 minutes max, something like that. So yes, it's not overly necessary for them to have added that many weapons, but it is fun. It's a great addition. Anyways, with that being said, let's talk about the Mecha and Dragon sections. Now, I'm going to group these into the same category because they relatively were the same thing. It was a section. It felt more like a filler section in between the actual combat of Doom slaying demons. It felt like something they put in just to change it up so that your palate didn't get stale. And what these were you were inside of a giant mech, or you were riding on top of a robot dragon, and every enemy that you would fight would have a pattern based attack essentially. So the ships that you were fighting, the hell ships that you were fighting as the on the dragon levels, they were all pattern based. Once you got the patterns down, there was really nothing else you needed to do besides just dodge what was coming to you. And it was just really simple minded, really simplistic. In fact, I think it was really mindless. It was mindless activities is really what it was, and no hate whatsoever. It was still fun, but I didn't need to think about my next move or think about dodging this enemy or dodging that. I was focused on one thing, shooting one bullet at me at a time and dodging that bullet. And same with the mecha sections. You were fighting demons that before they even attacked, a green light up would pop up on the screen telling you, he's about to attack, dodge. And so once you got it down, there was really nothing else to it besides, pressing the dodge button. So overall, it was fun. It's fun. It's exciting. Yeah, it's a new play style to the game, but overall, it's relatively unnecessary. It's mindless. It really is. But with that being said, the visuals, the overall atmosphere, the aesthetic of the overall of the game, it was just beautiful. It really hit the nail on the head every single time. So I never once got bored with the cinematics. The cinematics always felt exciting, exhilarating, especially in between, coming out of combat where you're demolishing hordes of enemies and then having to sit there through a 5-minute long, cinematic. The entire cinematic was enticing. It was awe-inspiring. It was fun to look at. So there was no boredom there with the story being told. In fact, the story kept me hooked more than anything else did. I think the story was... It was fun. It was nothing too deep, nothing like, oh my gosh, this is the craziest story ever. It was just fun. It was lighthearted, and it was fun to follow along. The overall atmosphere of the levels and the levels themselves, the levels designs were phenomenal. I think every single puzzle that they put into the level took thought. It took, time. It took effort, because every single level is fun to explore. It's fun to have a little look around and try to find all the secrets. You're never getting too bored of, just wandering an endless battlefield. There's always different things to do and different things to find, different Easter eggs, different puzzles, different things for you to keep yourself entertained. So no complaints there. I thought the overall level design was phenomenal. The aesthetic of the game was phenomenal. The cinematics were phenomenal. The landscape, everything phenomenal. I thought, from fiery hellscapes with lava castles coming out of the ground and weird ethereal dimensions that were origin homes for outer gods or whatever. From stuff like that, they really nailed it all in the head. It seems lively, very lively, but also dead at the same time, if you know what I mean. And last but not least, the sound design. Now, the sound design was a little, it was hit or miss. I love the soundtrack overall, don't get me wrong. Great soundtrack. But it wasn't produced by Mick Gordon. And it's not like, oh, it's not Mick Gordon, it can't be good. Great soundtrack, again. But it's just missing that flair, that just whatever Mick Gordon had. The music that kept you enticed the entire time through 2016 and Doom Eternal was just heavy metal, exhilarating, and just, it was memorable, With Doom, The Dark Ages, its soundtrack isn't as memorable. In fact, most of the time I feel like the soundtrack was being drowned out by the combat more than anything else. So, not too much crazy going on with the soundtrack. Great soundtrack overall, but not memorable whatsoever. I think I pretty much covered it all. That's really all I wanted to talk about. The reception was great from fans and players who have originally played Doom Eternal and Doom 2016 and all the other Dooms. The reception from pro players was definitely very well received. But yeah, that was just my little opinion on how I felt about the game. Overall, great, great game. I'd probably play it again. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank y'all for watching.